It's Wednesday. It's time to wake up. I believe we were all born to be rich, abundant, and successful. Wake Up Wednesday starts right here, right now. As we end October, we're also finishing off the four disciplines of execution by Chris McChesney, Sean Covey, and Jim Huling. The fourth discipline is create a cadence of accountability, the frequently recurring cycle of accounting from past performance and planning to move the score forward. So, just to recap, we've created one or two wildly important goals. We've defined our lead measures, our lag measures, and scheduled and taken action. We completed our compelling scoreboard. So, accountability is the next step. Being accountable helps you take action that you have to be committed to. And it also can create a mastermind opportunity to help each other as we move forward. Today, our special guest is D. Orlando Fortune. He helps established coaches and consultants write books to grow their businesses. So tell us a little bit about the ways you've used accountability and how you've used the four disciplines. Do you have accountability partners, and how has that helped your business?
Great question. Appreciate you for the opportunity, Lynn. This is the four disciplines of execution. I had to go find my copy of the book. Like, I buy a lot of books. Just want to throw this in there. I buy a lot of books. And I got to the point where I started getting them digital because I was running out of space to put these books. But certain books that are really good, I get the physical copy too to add to my collection. This is one of those books. So I definitely was grateful for the opportunity to come here and speak about this. As far as accountability has been a very key part of my success over the last several years. I do have an accountability partner that I speak with like every week, every Monday. Now, I'm not on like a big team as it talks about in the book there, being on large organizations and so forth. I'm a solopreneur, if I can use that term loosely. So my accountability partner, he doesn't even live in the state. He lives in a completely different part of the country, runs a different type of business, but we get on there and we discuss our goals regularly and talk about what did you hit your goal? What are we working on this next week, and continue to move forward with that week. We have some other things we talk about also, but we do hit on those main things.
So, and what are the results in your business of how having that accountability? How has that helped?
So here's the thing. My goal, let's see how to put this. When I first started doing the accountability, I have to be honest here, I wasn't using the right lead indicators. Okay. So I was not doing them properly. We had a scorecard that was basically a tracking sheet of revenues. That was it. Like, it wasn't like, what are you doing this week, which is the very key part of moving forward. We were just tracking the lag indicators, right? But it wasn't until this year. So we've been doing this this is our third year, about 2.5 years in right now. So the beginning of this year, we created a Google Doc with our actual wigs for the key categories in our life. There's like three main categories: personal, business, and so forth. And when we put that on there, that's when things change. So it's actually just been this year when things have started. I was always working. And I was like, oh, I was busy all week, but it didn't mean I was making any income or changing anything. So this year, I've actually got to the point where my income is starting to get more consistent. That's taken up for the first, up until about August, excuse me, that I finally started getting more consistent income. So my income has doubled since start working with him, using this the right way. Let me put it that way, using it the right way.
Exactly. Yeah. I had the same thing. I found that I was only, my scorecard only had my leg measures on it. And this year I also added all of the lead measures. And I have accountability partners every Monday morning, just like you. I get together with two other coaches, and we have accountability, we mastermind, and we also give support. So that's another important thing, is just that support. When you're feeling a little bit down, we help lift each other back up. So I like to call it partners in believing also, because we believe in each other when we have a hard time believing in ourselves.
Excellent, excellent. And
Yeah.
I do want to say that because, again, it's not such a structured thing where I'm going into an office or something like that. There is a little bit what we call what they speak about the whirlwind. He goes on. We do discuss a little bit of the whirlwind in our calls, but it's more personal with us. So we may talk about things going on in our family. We may talk about some other things that just like frustrated with life stuff, but that comes after. Like we get down to business and we have some time left or whatever, and we don't have to go like jump off to get on another call or something like that. We maybe discuss some of those things, or we'll make a phone call through the week and discuss those. Like, hey, can I just vent about this client?
Yeah, that's all important too.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else that you would want people to know about accountability?
Yeah, my background is in psychology. I have my master's degree in psychology with a focus in life coaching. So I wanted to help people, right? And now I'm working on my PhD in life coaching, in psychology with an emphasis in human performance. So I want to really figure out how to help people get better at what they're doing. And one of my little nerdy things I like to do is really look at a goal setting theory. And there was a study back in the day where people were used a lot about this Ivy League schools and 55% did it. And there's no evidence of that at all. Now we use it. I'm not going to say it's not right, but there's no evidence of that study anywhere. But we do have evidence of a study out of University of California, Dominican University. Dr. Gail Matthews. She did a study on goal setting and achievement, right? What she did was she broke this down in like 5 different sections. What she's found out is that when people write down their goals, literally write down their goals, and they break down that goal into pieces, they turn that goal over to someone, have regular accountability with that individual, that they increase their chances of hitting their goal by up to 70%. Like people jump from 30 and 40% up to 70% of hitting their goals by adding those steps. So there is support for what they're talking about in the 4DX. Okay. Now the 4DX actually goes into specifics of how to do that, as opposed to just a general thing that this study was about how to use these things, how to use these steps. So I really suggest people do it. Absolutely. When I work with my clients, I say one of the key things about you getting your book finished is that we have accountability. I have all the steps laid out for you. I know the project plan. I know the people. I can suggest all these things. You just need to show up to the call. And I like to use Trello as one of my favorite things when I work with my clients, so they can see it visually, because I don't know how everybody works differently, but you can see it. Boom, shift this over. You're getting work done. But when you show up to the call and I say, this is what we need to do, you get this done, we'll talk to you next week. If you get this done, we'll be done in the time frame that that I've laid out for this book to get done. If you don't, we'll be here longer. And there's the time plan, because I need to move on to the next person. Otherwise, you're going to keep paying me more. Let's get this done. Be accountable when you show up to these calls, and let's get it done.
Yeah, and I bet something like a book, which is more long-term, it's even more important to stay in that accountability. So that's a great way of working with your clients, so that you keep them on track. It lowers frustration with both you and your client. So that is a perfect example of using accountability in your business. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Now there's, I do want to add a little piece just to see more specific exactly what it looked like. First off, in the beginning, in the first couple weeks, in the first couple steps of my process, there is we set a goal of how many pages or how many words, okay, that you're going to have in this book. And then we set out how many words, based on what it is, how many words or pages you're going to write either per week or per day. And now you're coming back to me and saying, and we set a time when you're going to write. So we do this if-then statements, when you're going to write, where you're going to write at and what time. Okay. And so we can kind of create that whole process in your day, because this is a whole new habit that people do not like, right? They say, I got to get up and write. So we create that whole cadence. And again, another cadence of accountability built into this process of getting the book done, because that's the hardest part. Everything else, you pass it off to editors and all that stuff. That's easy to do. But getting the book out of your head, ideas out of your head and on the paper is the hard part. So create this regular schedule that you're going to show up in your own life and do the work. But also come back and say, did that schedule work? No, I only wrote 2 days this week. All right. What was the problem? How do I help you? I forget how we say the word, like fill the gap, or I can't remember exactly what the word is in the book. But how do I help you make that easy for you and make an adjustment so that you can get this writing done? So that absolutely is a key piece. Is more specific on how to use it, how I use it in my business.
Yeah, that's great. There's also some things you can do at a personal level that I like to have people do, is to have a beginning and an end of the day review.
Mm-hmm.
So you start each day with a short statement of what you want to accomplish. Then you list those qualities of who you want to be to accomplish those. I like to have to-be lists to go along with your to-do list, so that you actually know who you want to be in each one of those situations. And that way you complete your work in a different way. And then at the end of the day, just go back and list what you're grateful for and really speak the gratitude out loud. And then ask, what did I learn? What do I need to let go of? And what future action do I need to take? And this allows you to clear things out so the next day you're ready to get going again. So thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Is there anything else you want people to know about you?
It's certainly more. I just want to be clear that I specifically work with coaches and consultants and some speakers to help them take their ideas, their messages, their ideas, get them out of the head, get them onto the written page, and into a transformational book. You know, we as life coaches in a background in life coaching, we like to create transformation. We're not just changing; let's transform you into the person you're supposed to be. But the books that I help people write is to help transform their clients into that next level, whatever it may be, with relationships, wealth, business, health, whatever it may be. But not only do that, but it's also to help grow their business. So someone's going to say, I read your book and I got transformation. Someone's going to say, and thank you. The next person's going to say, I read your book. It's awesome. I'm not ready for it. So I'm going to give it to someone else, and they get a transformation. But then there's a certain percentage of those people who are going to read the book and be like, this is awesome. I need you, Lynn, to help me get this. And those are people we're going to help the most, as they're going to come into our coaching consulting business. So I help them write those books that do that, share that message, and also turn them into qualified clients and coach and consult clients for the customers for them as they come into the business after reading the books. So I love to do it. I have a process that's breaks it down into what I call the 4-hour book. So get your book all out of your head very quickly into a short, succinct book that someone can read in a day or two. And now they're going to call you and thank you for what you did and say, how do I get more?
Yeah, that's great. That's always a good thing to do. Transformation is really what us coaches are here for. So thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to challenge each one of you listening or watching right now, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, to just sit down and ask yourself, what can I do to be more accountable to my actions and support my goals? So type in the comments where you are in the process. Say, I have an accountability partner, or I am ready for an accountability partner. So here is to your success. Until next time, dream bravely, act boldly, live vibrantly.